We're talking about Everton. That's where we're going to begin. 4-1. They got smashed.
Yeah.
I said they'd lose last night. I didn't. Now, Everton fans go, yeah, we made changes. So did Bournemouth, right? That's still no excuse. You got beaten by a rudderless Bournemouth B team is basically what happened last night. Now, you can phone up if you want and tell me the reasons as to why it happened. I know the reason why it didn't happen, okay? The main one being, in my opinion, is Frank Lampard picked the wrong team. Frank Lampard needs to be picking an Everton team that starts winning games, right? For a number of reasons.
Confidence.
One's confidence, right? 2, Everton are never, ever, 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 in the next however many years, going to be pushing for top 4 or even top 7, dare I say it, right? It's not going to happen for the next 5 years. Let's be realistic.
Top 7 if they find a bit of consistency, but at the current stage, I can't see it.
Right. Everton, after 12 or 13 games, should not be thinking about relegation. All right? They shouldn't. They're too big. They've got too many good players. Frank Lampard is a good enough manager to steer them clear of relegation. So why aren't they going on a cup run? Why? You've got one game left against Bournemouth, ironically, before we break for 4 weeks. Why aren't Everton fielding a strong enough side to beat, as I say, a rudderless B-team Bournemouth side that are going nowhere, that don't know the direction of the club, that don't even know who's going to be in charge from 1 week to the next? Why are Everton not going on a cup run?
Do you know what?
I just can't understand
when you look at the team that he picked, right, I thought that, and again, this is where I don't really blame Frank, because the players on the pitch should be... but listen, the players on the pitch should be hold themselves accountable and be playing better.
He's played 3 at the back with players that haven't played.
I get that, but Yerry Mina is an international, knows what he's doing. Michael Keane's an international. I know he's had tough times, but he's an international. You've got Mason Holgate there. Then you've got people in that. Tom Davis, he's been there a long time, understands it. Doucouré, good signing, good player. Then you had Anthony Gordon. He was one of the most coveted youngsters in the UK in the summer window.
Shouldn't be happening.
And Neil Maupay. So I think that starting 11 that they've got there, I think is more than good enough to get a result. But when you look at the goals that they conceded, I mean, they are individuals' mistakes.
Awful.
And they look like players that haven't been playing. I mean, you see, I know it can happen to anyone, but like Mason Holgate slipping. But just some of the decisions that they were making, trying to play out from the back, and they could have get punished more. Bournemouth kept intercepting them. He changed the shape 3 times yesterday. You know what I mean? He went with like a 3-5-2. He started with, then he went to, a 4-5-1. And then he obviously ended the game with a 4-5-1. But I just think right now, a cup run, and I know football fans love cup runs, I just don't think Everton Football Club right now, that's what they need. I don't think...
What are Everton about? Tell me.
Right now, the last couple of seasons have been about survival.
But Everton are bigger than that.
But they are bigger than that.
They could afford, Benny, certainly with 1 game left before World Cup break, they could afford to go on some kind of cup run.
Well, listen, under Frank...
Bournemouth, 4, it wasn't 1-0. They got smashed by a Bournemouth B team.
Listen, they did. But you look, in the FA Cup under Frank, they got to the quarterfinals, didn't they, against Palace? I mean, they got smashed 4-0. Got to a quarterfinal, not by the FA Cup.
Right.
Yeah, and again, last night, going out in the 3rd round. But I think for Frank Lampard, he needs to find consistency in the league. I know you want a cup run. And
3 wins out of 14.
Poor. But you need to get a bit of confidence in there. But that team last night should be able to hold themselves accountable for that performance, because they were atrocious.
Let me ask, because we've got to take calls in it. Just a yes or no. Are Everton going forwards under Frank Lampard?
I just think at the minute they're just...
Stagnant.
So
other teams are moving on.
Well, yeah, of course. You look at what...
So they're going backwards then?
A little bit, yeah. Well, they're not backwards, but they're just staying in the same place. They're getting... Okay, they are going bypass, not from what they're doing, but teams around them are obviously investing. But they did spend a bit of money in the summer.
80.
I thought they brought some good players in. I thought... And Onana's a good player.
Yeah.
But then the 2 that kind of surprised me, and I get it, they're probably good squad players. Dwight McNeil scored 1 goal last season. No, sorry, didn't score a goal last season. Had 1 assist. They bought him for 17 million. Now, Neil Maupay, I think he's a clever footballer. He's not a prolific goal scorer. I think he scored 8 back-to-back in the last 2 Premier League seasons. They need someone who's going to come in and really get the goal. So I don't know what they were expecting by signing someone like Neil Maupay, but I guess they're good squad players. But I just think last night, I know a lot of people are going to jump on it and say it's a poor performance, but the players that he picked should be more than good enough to get a result against Bournemouth.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.